seen the armed robberies during the night time. We have seen the violent armed robberies during the midnight time, and residents are worried. Question is, if criminal has the rights, and they have all the rights here, and why don't homeowners, when they get these armed robbers nowhere in the midnight, and they don't have the rights, homeowners don't have the rights, why can't the government bring some legislation to give more rights to the homeowners so that they can defend and protect themselves from these armed criminals, where this is a very serious concern of the residents, and it is in front of you. So residents need a legislation, and this is the demand of the police also. When we talk to the police officers, they need to protect themselves. They can't shoot the intruders. They can't hurt the intruder. What can they do? Thank you.
Yeah, well, great question. And before I hand it over to our new minister, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do. First of all, it starts with a criminal code from the federal government. When we catch these people, these bad guys, because they're 99.9% are guys, you know, we need to throw them in jail. We don't need to throw them in jail for a day or 2 days. We need to send them to jail for years and keep them behind bars, because if there's a deterrent, people are going to think twice about breaking in to someone's home. And it starts with a criminal code, then it starts with our judges and our JPs. We can't be letting these criminals out on the streets. You know, I use this example, many doors get kicked in, guns are put to people's heads, terrifying experience. And guess what? The guy's back out on the streets to repeat the same crime he did the night before, because we have a weak system, weak criminal system. You know, you try to do this down in the States, two things are going to happen. You're getting caught and you're going to jail for years, or the homeowner is going to shoot you, one of the two. And I'd rather keep guns out of communities, and I'd rather really support our police that we're putting a lot more money into guns and gangs across the region, and just supporting our police. But the judges and the JPs have to keep them in jail, and the federal government has to change the criminal code. Simple as that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Premier. And the Premier's bang on. You know, your question is something that we're seeing here in Peel. While we have a lot of these home invasions and carjackings and violent crime are linked to the auto theft problem. And while we've seen auto theft decline about 14% across the province, about 9% here in Peel, we've seen a large increase in the violent interactions. So there's two ways they kind of steal cars. One is out of your driveway in the middle of the night. The other is, you know, at your car or at your home with a weapon saying, you know, give me the keys. And we've been investing in police through the auto theft, the Protecting Against Auto Theft grant, through the STEP program, through the CISO, bolstering the Criminal Intelligence Service Ontario. We've seen some good results. Namely, here in Peel, we saw Project Warlock, 18 individuals, 150 criminal code charges that were laid for violent carjackings, home invasions. One case where somebody's literally woken up with a gun to their head saying, give me the keys to your car. Police are doing their job, we're resourcing them properly, but by the time we were announcing the results of Project Warlock here in Peel, 9 of the 18 individuals were already out on bail. We can't have the same slap on the wrist system, violent offenders getting out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different times to commit the same offenses. And the Premier is exactly bang on with his comment. While politicians can't order judges, federal politicians do write the criminal code. And we've been calling on our friends in Ottawa to implement meaningful bail reform. They've taken a few steps, but they need to do more. And rest assured, this is something that our government's on top of, and we're all over it.
My next question is for Minister Sarkaria, and Premier Ford can also comment on that. Ontario is the only province where a visitor can take a commercial truck driving license. And we can't say nobody knows it, everybody knows it. Why can't we ban that visitor? Because many of the accidents we see on the highways, this may be one of the causes that untrained drivers are on our highways. And also in the Service Ontario, and where the driving license centers are there, many fraudulent people are operating, adding fake experiences, making dummy driver licenses. And we reported this to police also, gave the name of those people, those who are doing this. So we need a legislation on this also, that these fraudulent people and these visitors, how can they drive commercial trucks on our highways. This is the biggest road safety issue. Thank you, Premier.
Well, thank you so much. I think it's a real skill set to be able to drive one of those tractor trailers. And they're big pieces of equipment, and you have to be qualified. It has to be legal. There's no lying on applications, or we need to deal with it. It's very simple, and I know the minister's doing a great job. I've talked to him about the driving schools 100 times, about 100 times, and or 101 times. But I'll pass it over to the minister. He's quite familiar with this.
Thank you for the question. And obviously, a major issues are ensuring that safety on our highways, and something that we are absolutely going to be taking very seriously, reviewing all of our commercial licensing as well. And I know you've brought this up in the past as well before. First and foremost, we want to make sure from the comments with respect to any individuals involved on whether it be Service Ontario or drive test in any criminal manner, that will be investigated fully, and we will cooperate with if it's the police, our own internal ministry, to ensure that any sort of fraud is handled immediately. Visitors in this province or would be illegal to drive without a work permit. So absolutely, if there's any loopholes there, we'll definitely be fixing those and making sure that should not happen and cannot happen. And we will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that where that is occurring, it is investigated, and that we also come down very hard on that or move forward on legislation that would close that gap or restrict that from happening further in the province. So I will take that back and continue to work with our team to have a resolution very shortly. Thank you.
Hi there, namaskar, sat sri akal, assalamu alaikum. Mitwada Brampton North PC Party MLA Graham McGregor. We're here today at Brampton City Hall announcing $29.7 million that are going to go to helping City of Brampton create 12,900 new housing units here in downtown Brampton. The Brampton Riverwalk project is one that the city has been asking for provincial participation for a very long time. We're very happy to get good results, and this is part of our plan to build 1.5 million homes across Ontario by 2031.
ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਹਿਸਟੋਰਿਕ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ $30 million ਸਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ to develop, to support more housing in the downtown core. ਸੋ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਆ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪੋਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਧ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਸੋ ਇਹ $30 million ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਉਸ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ enabling ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ so we're very happy to be here to support the city and our province committed through Premier Ford and Minister Sharma this extra commitment.
We have to work to do the best we can to make sure that we build the infrastructure needed to support this growth and ensure it's sustainable for generations to come. We can't make the same mistakes that previous governments made when they refused to invest in infrastructure and our province's growth. Folks, we're investing over $200 billion, no matter if it's in infrastructure on roads and highways and bridges, on infrastructure when it comes to transit, schools and hospitals. We took a different approach than the previous government. And friends, we're working closely with our municipal partners, laying the groundwork to tackle Ontario's housing supply crisis. Back in February, I joined Mayor Brown here at City Hall to deliver a big $25.5 million check from the Building Faster Fund, a $1.2 billion program that rewards municipalities for reaching annual housing targets. Municipalities like Brampton can use this money for infrastructure projects to lay the groundwork for more housing. In addition, as Minister Sharma mentioned, last month we announced the first round of investments from the Housing Enabling Water System Fund, a total of $970 million. That will help build more than 500,000 homes across 60 municipalities. And today, I'm thrilled to announce that this first round of funding includes $29.7 million for the City of Brampton to enhance its stormwater management system. This money will help the city upgrade 600 meters of the Tobico Creek to improve the flow of stormwater runoff and floods, and once complete, will help Brampton get almost 13,000 new homes built faster. It's an important step towards achieving Brampton's Riverwalk project. It will help revitalize the city's downtown core and support the growing population and economic growth taking place across the region. Friends, it's so important that we get shovels in the ground for new homes in every part of this province. And Mayor Brown, we're going to keep working with you nonstop and all the mayors across the province to build the housing enabling infrastructure you need to meet and exceed your housing targets and to bring the dream of home ownership into reach for more people. We're going to get it done. Once again, I want to thank you all for joining us, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank the Premier for being laser focused on housing, and what he is going to announce today is really a creative way to build housing. Brampton is complicated, and we are committed to transforming our downtown. But our downtown, like many old communities and old downtowns, has challenges that come with it. We want to hit out of the park our housing target the province has given us of 113,000 homes, but it needs to start with our downtown as well. This is the heart of the city. And since the 1820s, we've had some significant challenges with flooding in our downtown because of the impact of the Etobicoke Creek. During the mid-1900s, Brampton experienced a series of devastating floods. To protect the area, the city and the Conservation Authority built infrastructure to improve drainage and stormwater in 1952. The infrastructure continues to function and manage drainage and stormwater to protect the city from flooding, but not to the level that allows us to build housing in the downtown. And there's just so much potential here, so much opportunity to build housing. But the influence of the Etobicoke Creek has limited residential and commercial development in our downtown. So this is an opportunity to unlock that potential. But funding was needed to support this improvement to drainage and complete infrastructure. And it's not cheap. Improving the infrastructure to handle those potential floods, to enable new housing, is a significant cost, and we needed partners with the provincial and federal government to make this possible, to improve the city's overall stormwater system. The outcome of this project will really be a game changer for our downtown and housing. And just to put this into context, the plan the city put out called Riverwalk, which was about enabling economic development in the downtown, when completed, will unlock 3.6 million square feet of residential, commercial, and retail space in the downtown of Brampton, creating more than 23,000 jobs and a $1.4 billion impact on gross domestic product, including 12,900 new homes. And one thing that I love about the Premier is anytime you take to him an idea that really can move the city forward and build housing, he sinks his teeth into it. He starts speaking to the civil servants, making sure, and his caucus and his ministers to make sure they can be part of this. And once again, the Premier has come through for the city of Brampton, stepping up to make sure we have the funding for this critical project. And I have to say, Graham McGregor, you were like a pit bull on this, harassing colleagues at Queen's Park, and thank you for that. And I know our local councillors, this was their biggest project in the downtown, the 4 local councillors wanting to make this happen. Our downtown needs some tender, loving care, and part of the challenge was this needed infrastructure work. And so this enables us to rip the bandage off and build a great downtown that includes housing. You want to see busy shops, busy restaurants. You need people. You need housing for young people. We're one of the fastest growing cities in the country. We need housing for those new residents, and this announcement helps unlock that. So to the Premier, I've said a few thank yous over the last year at different announcements, but I want to say thank you again for being a great friend to the City of Brampton.
So City of Brampton ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਰਿਵਰ ਵਾਟਰ ਵਾਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ 27.9 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੀ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕ੍ਰਿਟੀਕਲ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਹੈ ਦੀ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਫਾਸਟ ਟਰੈਕ ਤੇ ਬਣਾਏ 12,900 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਫਾਸਟ ਟਰੈਕ ਤੇ ਔਰ ਸਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹ ਟੂਲਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਦੀ ਤਰਫ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੇਅਰ ਬ੍ਰਾਊਨ ਬੜੇ ਫਾਸਟ ਟਰੈਕ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਿਵਰ ਵਾਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਜੌਨ ਹੈ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਤੋਂ ਸੋ ਜੌਨ ਇਫ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਟੈਲ ਅਸ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਦਿਸ ਲੇਟੈਸਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਵਿਚ river walk water project.
Yeah, so this is a funding that came today as catalyst for some upgrades to infrastructure. I'm with the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, and we've been working very closely with the City of Brampton over the last 15 years to do an environmental assessment and to identify the roads that need to be raised and to look at the bypass channel that also needs to be widened and deepened to make sure that we can develop more housing in downtown Brampton safely. And so this announcement today helps us move forward in that direction.
So what is the deadline by when this downtown Brampton, we have seen these roads are blocked, construction going on, and residents want to know when this will be done in next 3 years or 4 years?
So the design of this specific project today that's being funded, which is for flood protection and stormwater management work, it's nearing completion, so that's the design, and then the city will have to go forward and tender through a competitive process those works. So I know Mayor Brown and the city are very committed to working very closely now with this new funding from the province and with previous announcements of federal funding. We're going to be working closely with them as a partner to try to move this ahead as soon as possible. I don't have an exact date when everything's going to be completed in terms of this project, but we are moving ahead. And because everyone is working together, I think it's going to happen over the next few years.
Okay, so any message you want to give to the residents of Brampton because they pass a lot from this area and they see the road blockages. What should they expect in next few years?
So for sure, there's going to be a lot of work underway over the next few years. There's going to be a bit of disruption. However, the long-term benefit of having housing and having recreational spaces that are safe and that are a benefit for the city of Brampton, it's worth the investment, it's worth the time. And so I think being patient and understanding that there's going to be an ultimately a great project at the end of the day that's going to allow for safe housing, it's going to make a better downtown. I think that's the outcome that we're looking for.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
your questions.
Thank you.